And that is Alvin from Dr. Wealth. ThaiBev or Thai Beverage have a big announcement and they are going to do a share swap. Actually, the substantial shareholder is the same family that owns the entities. So it can get a bit messy in terms of the structure, and now they're going to clean it up, which I think is a good thing. So if you are shareholders of Thai Beverage, F&N, and Frasers Property, you should watch this video and I'll explain to you what's going on and more importantly, what you have to do. So let's start off with the structure, okay, of Thai Beverage and Frasers Property. Okay, so the substantial shareholders are the same, right? It's the Thai family that owns both of these units. So for Thai Beverage, it has 28.31% stake in F&N, and at the same time, it has 28.78% in Frasers Property. Okay, so it has these two companies under its wing. These are investments, they are not subsidiaries, which means they will not contribute to Thai Beverage revenue. Okay, and let's look at the Frasers Property. The substantial shareholder is this TCC group in Thailand, which also belong to the same family from Thai Beverage. Okay, so this TCC owns 58.9% in F&N and another 58.1% in Frasers Property. All right, so you can see that there is duplicate shareholdings on both sides with the same substantial shareholder family, and that is where they are going to do a share swap to clean it up. So what will it look like after the share swap has been completed and approved? Okay, so for ThaiBev, it will be will own these F&N shares and boost its stake to 69.61%. Previously, it was less than 30%, so it will go up to 69.61%. And you will see that the stake in Frasers Property are totally gone. Okay, so because in exchange for this increased stake in F&N, this Thai Beverage will give the TCC shareholder entire stake in Frasers Property. Okay, so that's why for TCC, the Frasers ownership will shoot up to 86.69%, and its stake in F&N will reduce to 17.6%. So there's still a little bit of uneasiness, but definitely better, right? Because now Thai Beverage will not have any property stake. It will be a pure play F&B company from now on. After, sorry, not from now on, after they get approved, right? Because then there is a voting that it needs to be done. And for TCC, its a little bit still untidy because it still have that F&N, 17.6% stake. And I think why is this so is because Thai Beverage doesn't want to pay any cash to acquire the remaining stake in F&N from TCC, and that's why that remaining amount is still there. Who knows, maybe eventually that acquisition will come and they will buy over the remaining stake. So let's look at what are the good things that happen. So for ThaiBev, it is good because it really become a beverage-focused company, and it has already been number one in terms of revenue in Southeast Asia for beverage company. But with this new stake from F&N, the revenue will boost further because now F&N become a subsidiary of Thai Beverage, so it will account F&N's revenue into Thai Beverage revenue. Right? Previously, it wasn't. So this will boost its the position number one spot further from the number two. And after accounting F&N's P&L into Thai Beverage earnings per share actually increased by 4.3% because this is F&N is more profitable, right? The margins are better, and hence it will help its parent company improve its margins as well. And there will be cross-selling, so that means that Thai Beverage will be able to sell F&N products in other countries, and likewise Thai Beverage can tap on F&N network, distribution network to sell its products in Singapore, Malaysia, where F&N is a lot stronger. And lastly, there's a cost synergy. Right? They could produce both brands of beverages in the same factory. Right? I'm not expert at this, okay? But I do think that there could be some possible synergy where they can tap on excess capacity here and there. They can order more materials, right? Raw materials to press down the price. They can negotiate with suppliers better. So there could be more cost synergy in that sense. So it really depends on how the management can execute this part. But definitely there's some potential. And it's also good for F&N because there's more synergy with the beverage parent compared to TCC. Right, so Thai Beverage management would be able to bring in more relevant expertise and maybe brainstorm with F&N management to come up with better solutions or better marketing plans or better brand positioning, etc., etc. And also, like what I mentioned just now, they can do some cross-selling, so they can leverage on Thai Beverage distribution, especially in the Indo-China region, where Thai Bev is a lot stronger, as opposed to just focusing on Singapore and Malaysia. And lastly, it's also good for Frasers Property shareholders. Why? Okay, although they are not directly involved, because this transaction is just shifting the Fraser Property shares to TCC, right? It's nothing to do with the rest of the minority shareholders, but the TCC would have a better focus on properties, right? That's one. So probably with that bandwidth, they can focus on better developments, make more money from investment properties, etc. And as well as another key thing, right? How the rest of the minority shareholder can benefit from this is that because the stake has increased to over 80%, close to the 90% delisting mark, and that means that there could be a chance where the TCC may make an offer to the minority shareholder to eventually delist the company. So that could be something that the Frasers Property shareholders can look at. And what is the price, right? Because when they do a share swap, it's not a one-to-one due to different businesses, different valuation, and therefore they engage DBS as their advisor for this deal, and they came up with the valuation, right? Of course, there's some methodology they did explain. If you're interested, you can always understand a bit more how they came up with this pricing. So F&N will be priced at 355 for the swap, and then for Fraser Property, it will be at 189 for the swap. So there is a swap ratio of about 1.88 times, which means one F&N share will exchange for 1.88 Frasers Property shares. Okay, so this is what DBS have came out with. They think that this is the price, and which means you need to agree, right? If you are a Thai Beverage shareholder, you need to agree with this swap ratio, then you vote yes, right? If you don't agree with this swap ratio, then you say no. So then you need a sensing, right? Whether this is fair or not, I'll give you my view. One thing for sure, if you look at the share price, okay, we want to see how the share price move after this deal has been announced. Okay, so for Thai Beverage, there isn't any movement at all. It's trading around 50 cents at the time of recording. And this is also because for Thai Beverage, there isn't a very big change, right? Yes, there's some shareholding change. Yes, there's some consolidation. Actually, it's more consolidation of F&N numbers into Thai Beverage. But that's not the important thing, because it's almost like a left pocket, right pocket kind of thing, right? Yes, there's more synergy, but you can see that shareholders do not get any tangible rewards immediately. They may see the rewards eventually, right? Better growth, lower cost, better margin, but that is not something that shareholders can witness right now. It is still uncertain, right? So it needs more time to prove itself. So it is not likely that Thai Beverage is going to move a lot in the short term. And for F&N, we have seen a very big jump, 21.5% at the time of recording. And that is a big jump, right? But that's still far away from the $355 valuation that was given by DBS. Less than half price of the valuation. So it could be a case where there's a severe undervaluation, and with this DBS valuation coming out, they feel that yeah, maybe F&N is really undervalued. So some investors or speculators went to buy out the price. Okay, I don't think a delisting offer is happening anytime soon for F&N, right? Remember, there's still that remaining 10+% stake that Frasers probably have, and as well as the rest of the minority shareholders. Okay, they are not settled yet. ThaiBev have to co-share with these other two groups of investors. So I don't think that delisting will happen, because if it happens, it would have happened now. ThaiBev would have offered to buy over the remaining shares in F&N that it did not own. But you see, Frasers Property still have that 10% stake, if I can go back, right? So this is after the share swap. TCC, not Fraser Property, okay, sorry, TCC, okay. Fraser Property didn't own F&N. TCC will still have 17.6% stake in F&N. Okay, so this is something that I would have believed if ThaiBev want to make it a wholly owned subsidiary, they would have made an offer here. Okay, and not only that, they by right, ThaiBev needs to give a general offer. Okay, because it didn't own F&N more than 50%, but after this deal, they'll own more than 50%. By right, it will trigger a mandatory offer, but they have seek approval from the Securities Industry Council that no offer will be made. Okay, and that is settled already. So therefore, delisting is not in the near future. Probably another side of the story is that they believe F&N is going to benefit a lot more under this new parent, okay, which is ThaiBev, right, as opposed to TCC in the past. So this could be another possible thing that people are looking forward, whereas ThaiBev may not benefit so much from F&N, okay, because F&N revenue is a lot smaller than ThaiBev in this aspect. And lastly, we have Frasers Property is up about 1.87% at the time of recording, but you can see that the effect is not so big. Okay, even though the offer or the valuation that was determined by DBS was at 189, you can see the price is still stuck at 82 cents, less than $1. I believe in this case, even though I said that the delisting can happen, right, it seems like the market doesn't believe that. Okay, because if they believe that, they will bid up the price a lot higher compared to what happened in F&N. Okay, but it's not moving a lot. So market doesn't believe that an offer is going to come soon. Okay. For that, I don't know, right? For of course, there are quite a lot of property stocks that are in this kind of situation, right? Because property generally are not doing well due to the high interest rate, the demand has fallen. So it's not really a boom time even for the substantial shareholders themselves. So maybe it's not likely that they will do a delisting offer soon, even for Frasers Property. So this is what you need to take note of. If you're F&N shareholder, there's nothing you need to do. You just have a new parent, and that's it. Okay, there is no general offer, right? As I mentioned just now. For Frasers Property, there's also nothing you need to do. F&N belongs to substantial shareholder of Fraser Property. Okay, so actually there's nothing to do with Fraser Property at all. Okay. But because the stake will increase tremendously, okay, that's the only change, right? From 50+% to almost 90% stake in Fraser Property from the substantial shareholder. Okay, so other than that, there's no change. And lastly, is the ThaiBev shareholders. There will be an EGM that you need to vote, and the substantial shareholder or the offerer will not be making this vote. And that I think is fair, right, to let the rest whether they agree with the share swap. And I think it should be a no-brainer because F&N will be better off with Thai Beverage than with DCC. Okay? It's very clear. There can be more synergy, there can be rip out of it. All right. And when is the date? Okay, let me blow this up for you. The confirmed date has not been set yet, but it's somewhere around mid-September. So there will be a lot of activities happening leading up to it. They will have the EGM circular, they will have more information about the share swap, and then they will tell you the dates and the time and the venue. Okay, then by end September, they want to wrap everything up. Right? It's actually pretty fast within the next 1.5 months, and this new structure will take place. Okay, so it is not a difficult decision, I feel, right? I'm not a ThaiBev shareholder, so I cannot speak for you. But I don't think that this is a controversial one that people want to have both sides of the argument. I think it's quite clear that it will be more beneficial for both ThaiBev as well as F&N. And I do believe that it will go through. Right? Thanks for watching. I hope that it have give you an idea what's going on. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.